If you follow the world of real estate, it feels like the ground is constantly shifting, right? Top agents, powerhouse teams, even entire brokerages are making some really big moves. So today, we're going to dig in and unpack the real strategy behind this industry-wide shuffle.
And yeah, that's really the big question, isn't it? Why now? What is driving all of this change? Is it just about the money? Is it the latest tech? Maybe it's about culture? Or is there something bigger going on? Well, we've been digging through the headlines to try and piece this whole puzzle together for you.
Okay, so let's set the stage. This editor's note really hits the nail on the head. Change is just part of the game in this business. It's always happening. But, and this is the important part, just because it's common doesn't mean it's random. Nope. Every single move is a calculated decision, and when you look closely, they reveal these bigger trends about what agents and brokers are really looking for today. All right, first up, let's talk about the magnetic pull of the titans. You know, the huge established brands. In a market that can feel pretty chaotic, big names like Berkshire Hathaway and ERA Real Estate still have this incredible power to attract the best of the best. Let's find out why.
And here is a perfect example. Take the Vogel Group. These guys are a huge deal on Chicago's North Shore, pulling in nearly $25 million in sales. And they just packed up their whole team and moved over to Berkshire Hathaway. This is a top-tier team making a very conscious choice to go with a legacy brand.
This quote from their managing broker, Jill Egan, really gets right to the heart of it. To perform at that kind of level, you can't do it alone. You need an ironclad support system. It's all about that back-end infrastructure, the management, the staff, the whole machine that lets agents do what they do best, sell houses.
And it's not just the old guard teams making these moves. Check out Argent Realty. They only started back in 2020, but they grew super fast. And what did they do? They decided to plug into the massive global network of ERA. So what does that tell us? It tells us that even newer, successful companies see a huge strategic win in joining forces with a titan.
Now this is where it gets really interesting. Listen to why Argent's founder, Matt Escobar, says they made the move. It wasn't just about getting new tools or fancy tech platforms. He said the deciding factor was the people and the culture. It's about finding a place that just fits.
So if you boil it all down, what's the big appeal of these titans? Well, it's a whole package deal, right? You get that instant brand name recognition everyone knows. You get access to powerful, sophisticated marketing. You get an established, collaborative culture, a massive referral network, and even these super specialized programs for high-end markets, like luxury homes. But you know, that's only half the story. Because while the titans are grabbing talent, there's this whole new breed of brokerage bubbling up. These are companies built from the ground up on technology and a totally different agent-first model. And they're pulling in some serious talent too.
And our best example here is the Bachman Realty Group. Now, this isn't just some random team. They were the #1 team nationally at their old firm, Fathom Realty. And they just made the leap to the real brokerage, a much newer, tech-focused player in the game.
To really get the scale of this move, just look at this number. $245 million in sales volume just last year. I mean, wow. When a team of that size places a bet on a new model, you can be sure the entire industry sits up and pays attention.
So why'd they do it? Tiffany Bachman says it right here, technology. But listen to the word she uses. She calls it a game changer, and she was impressed by how intentional the platform is about helping agents grow. So it's not just tech for the sake of having tech, it's a tool specifically designed to empower their agents.
Okay, so let's put these two models side by side because they're really built on two totally different philosophies. On one side, you've got the titans. They're all about brand power, legacy, and offering that heavy-duty support. On the other side, you've got the new models. Their focus is proprietary tech, and they offer things like revenue sharing, where agents actually get a piece of the company's overall success, and a culture that's all about agent empowerment.
So beyond just choosing between a titan or a tech disruptor, there's another layer of strategy going on here. We've seen companies win by either going incredibly deep into a specific niche or going incredibly wide through massive expansion.
Remember the Vogel Group? Their move wasn't just about the Berkshire Hathaway brand. It was also about finding a brokerage that could support their super specific niche, vintage and historic properties. By completely dominating that one area, they become the absolute go-to experts that nobody can touch.
And that leads us to probably the biggest and most profitable niche of all, the luxury market. You see, firms like Douglas Elliman and Coldwell Banker constantly on the hunt, recruiting agents who live and breathe the high-end world. They want those specialists who understand that unique clientele.
Now, the other path, instead of going deep, is to go wide. And for that, just look at Engels and Wilkers. They are on an aggressive push to expand their global footprint, opening up new shops in Poland and all across France. This is a strategy of pure, relentless geographic growth.
And their CEO, Joed Bardakuma, basically says it all right here. He makes it crystal clear this isn't some random accident. It is a core part of their strategy to broaden their reach on an ongoing basis. This is their playbook, and they're running it hard.
Okay, so with all this movement we're seeing, new models, new agents, new markets, there's one more critical piece of the puzzle that, honestly, often gets overlooked, and that's the quiet power of stable, consistent leadership.
Let's take this recent leadership change at Harry Norman Realtors down in Atlanta. They just named a new president, Todd Emerson. But this move isn't about shaking things up for the sake of change. No. In fact, it's about doing the exact opposite.
This timeline really puts it all into perspective. The company itself is almost 100 years old, and the new president, he isn't some outsider they brought in. Todd Emerson has been with the firm for over 21 years. Promoting from within like this sends a powerful message about stability, continuity, and respecting your own legacy.
And this quote from the parent company CEO says everything you need to know. In a market that's constantly changing, appointing someone who is respected and trusted from within can be one of the smartest strategic moves you can make. It builds confidence from top to bottom.
So, when you step back and look at all these different moves, what's the modern playbook for a successful brokerage? Well, it seems to come down to a few key strategies. You can win by leveraging the power of a titan. You can win by embracing cutting-edge tech. You can win by dominating a niche. Or you can win by ensuring you have strong, stable leadership.
And all of this leaves us with one final big question for the future. In this market full of established titans on one side and nimble disruptors on the other, is the ultimate winning strategy to just pick a side? Or could the most successful brokerages of tomorrow be the ones who figure out how to build a bridge between the two? Something to think about. Thanks so much for joining me.